So Mayor Stripe,
Yeah.
Alderwoman Sabin. Present. Alderman Schreiber, he is absent, okay.
Oh, yes, Larry's wife, medical stuff.
Alderwoman Bergbauer,
Here.
Alderman Glogly,
Here.
Alderman Lobes,
Here.
Alderman Deskin,
Here.
Alderwoman Bartison,
Here.
Alderwoman Peretta.
Here.
Quorum is present.
All right, very good. I see Bill Carroll's here to open us up in a prayer.
Dear Heavenly Father, this time of the year, we come to you with a heart of thanksgiving. I thank you for this city. I thank you for the amazing past of the city, Lord, and the years that led up to here and the people, Lord, who led this city. I pray for the present. I thank you for these representatives right now who serve this city, Lord, and want to come to this meeting with truth, Lord, and to represent and to move the city forward. And Lord, we thank you and we pray for the future of this city. We pray that this is a place, Lord, where you are known and where your strong love for people, Lord, is known among all the citizens. Lord, we thank you for this city. We thank you for Lockport. We thank you for this time. In your name, amen.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. All right, my friends. You got anything for liaison reports tonight?
I just want to remind everyone, we're still, even though the weather has not been cooperating, we are still looking for the fall decorations. So hopefully people will start sending in their pictures and their addresses so that we can acknowledge them at the December 4th meeting. Otherwise, if we don't get enough entries, they will be in January. They will do Halloween and then the holiday lights. So keep those properties coming in. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else got anything?
I just want to add a quick reminder. Lockport Love, which we help sponsor usually 10 families a year, they're doing a mini fundraiser at the Roxy on December 8th, and it's at 2 p.m. or 5 p.m. It costs $5 a ticket, and if you order them on Eventbrite, it comes out to $6.27 a ticket. Chief, would you like to say anything else about it, or you guys got some more hype going on it?
I would, but I lost my voice.
Oh, sorry, I didn't get to talk to you yet.
With that unshaven
and yes,
face and that
Shaving.
a hard
Yeah.
night for the chief.
So, but it looks to be a fun event. I know there's still tickets available, so if you guys would like to go out and buy some tickets, bring some friends, they would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Is it like a movie or something? I forget.
They're going to show It's a Wonderful Life,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
and they'll
okay, so-
have concessions for sale, and you can just mingle with people, and it's just meant to, bring the community together, and then also something fun.
Everybody's going to ring the bell when Clarence gets his wings, too. Okay? Everybody's going to have
All
bells.
right.
Nice.
Make a bunch of angels. All right. Very good. Thanks. Anything else? I did get the first draft just a little while ago of our Star Makers Park feasibility study, so I'll make sure I get that out to everybody so you guys can start reading through it and give your thoughts and such. So I just started reading through it just about 20 minutes ago, so I'll make sure everybody gets some of it so you guys can look through it. If nothing else, then we'll move on. CA1.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. The first item, CA1, is the draft of the strategic plan from 2020 through 2022. It's our proposal and review, a chance for you all to take a review of it. Lockport City Council has been doing this for the last 6 years. We started in 2014 with the forecast plan, and then we had a strategic plan from 2017 to 2019. We usually like to pass this with the budget process. You can see some of the graphics that we've been able to have on the covers for our prior amounts. This year we kind of try to involve a couple different people in different ways. We had the residents participate with a online session and survey. We had asked the staff to respond to a certain survey. We asked the city council to respond to a survey. We had a workshop with the staff leadership team. We had the workshop with the elected officials, and we pulled it all together. And a lot of this was about listening, defining, clarifying, and implementing. This is a plan that we don't want to just set on the shelf. It's something that we want to have a little something for everybody. We took the feedback we got from each one of you, especially during the workshop at the police department that night. Drafted the minutes and the notes. We took the respondents from the surveys and really tried to make this document, you know, it's not going to be the Bible, but it's a great tool for us as staff and also for you to help set the goal for us into finding some priorities and making sure that we're staying in line with what the wishes of the council are in regards to the direction we're going for the city. So I know that, you know, we're going to go through this a little bit. Amanda's going to come up after this next section and go through the information from the residents. You know, SWOT analysis is sometimes taken with a grain of salt, but we felt that it was time to do that. We needed to kind of hear a little bit about the pros and cons, and, you know, we went through the strengths and the weaknesses, and it was kind of nice to hear. We heard similar things. We heard the council say similar things that the staff had said. So I don't think you're going to see anything in here that was a big surprise, but it also, again, helps us kind of reiterate what's important, what we can work on and focus on. You know, I won't go through all these, are in your packet. We've also liked to not bring this back for yet another meeting, so maybe mid-December, give everybody a chance to look at it and kind of regroup. And if you all have anything else that you didn't see that was involved that you wanted to see, we can take a look at that. Our new CED department head just got on board, and he wasn't able to really participate in the past, but I want to make sure that he gets a chance to review it, especially his section of the plan. You know, Lance Thies will take a look at it and make sure that the things that he thinks he can accomplish are all part of this. So with that, I think I'll just turn it over to Amanda and talk a little bit about the survey results. I think that was an important component.
Thank you, Ben. So part of the listening stage of the strategic planning process was to get input from the residents. So a resident survey was published online, available for July and August, and a notification regarding the availability of the survey was posted in several locations. It was sent out via text message, email, and posted on social media and the city's website. We received 631 responses, and per usual, as we experienced with the master bike path plan and the resident survey that was put out for that plan, we felt like we received some pretty good responses as well as feedback and input. And the input that we did receive will be very helpful in the development of the plan, including the strengths and weaknesses, as Ben had mentioned, and helped us to frame the strategic priority areas over the next 3 years. So going into the strategic priority areas after these resident survey results, as well as the results from both council and staff, those were compiled to then create a framework for the plan. Then on July 10th, the city council and our staff management team participated in the strategic planning session, and we at that meeting continued to outline the internal and external factors in the environmental assessment, as well as large and small group exercises that helped us to define these key strategic priorities further. I also wanted to note that at the strategic planning session, based on the resident input and the results of the council and staff surveys, we came into that meeting with 8 priorities, but those were refined through the meeting. Character, image, and communications were combined into one strategic priority area, and retail and restaurant opportunities were incorporated within the economic growth strategic area. And then this is just the format of the plan within each strategic priority area. There are vision statements, and then goals and strategies and actions that support the vision. So within this plan, the specific strategies that are tied to each goal and then the actions that support the strategies are a little bit different of a framework than the past plans, the forecast plan, and the 2017-2019 plan. And then in the packet for the draft plan, you'll see that all of these vision statements, goals, strategies, and actions are included for each of the 6 strategic priority areas. So So I think part of the opportunity for tonight is we just wanted to open it up for discussion, for any changes in reviewing the plan, any additions, if anything was omitted, that should be included. And then based upon that, talk about next steps.
All right, thoughts, concerns, suggestions?
So I just had 2 questions that I had asked Ben earlier. The first one was on page 2 of the draft strategic plan, and it was the word retreat. I didn't think we should have such a strong word there. Maybe workshop or meeting. But so it sounds like a retreat to me, it sounds like you're going out of town. And then secondly, page 4, and you guys can answer this question, where it says city council, I had questioned why it doesn't say like Ward 1, 2, 3, or 4, and they said because Ben said the plan would go till 2022 and the wards will change. But then I also asked, can we put it in alphabetical order then, or something else? So just your opinion on what you think of that. I understand the dates, what we will change, but to me, it looks like, we know these are the reason they're in that order, but if somebody from an outside's looking at it, to me, it seems like it's just in a random order then.
You're talking the order of the names?
Yes.
Yeah, page 4, so where it says city council, we could just
So
change that to be alphabetical.
You know, Catherine, if it's something you feel strongly about, that's fine with me.
Well, we know that it's first ward, second ward, third ward, fourth ward. So if we don't want to put first ward, second ward, third ward, third, fourth.
It's
can-
okay, we don't need to, it's fine.
So what would you guys like?
I am. Okay, whatever you guys want to do.
I'm fine with that. It isn't at the top of my needs list.
It's,
Well, I mean, it's a draft, so is it not something we can change?
Absolutely, you can change it.
So that's why I just wanted to discuss that. I don't know, is it hard to change it? Is it just change?
No,
It is an easy change to make. I will note that originally, we had, as you've noted, they are in order of ward, but because the wards
gonna
are changing
change.
in 2021, they were
I actually
removed.
took the wards off. It was my decision to take, Amanda had the wards listed on here, and I thought, well, they're gonna change next year. I thought that's gonna be confusing. Let's just leave the wards off. But we could have easily just changed the alphabetical order if you want.
I mean, and that's,
It's an easy
it's fine, it's an easy fix, and that's fine if we move on. It's about
the only
it's
question
about
I have.
the big picture of
Well,
what
I'm
this
just
is
saying
about.
if someone's looking at it.
Yeah, okay.
What?
We're gonna put Renee Saban at the bottom.
You could be at the,
We'll alternate.
Yeah, look.
Oh, man, it's just,
I would just wanted to know, I mean, just because if you're reading it, why did we pick this order then? I mean, if, you could do it that way too. But to me, it looks cluttered being in this order if you don't know that it goes.
yeah, it's,
Well, I'm
it's,
just asking.
it's okay. Just, it's just because it's not, I don't want to have a discussion about something so menial. I would just leave it.
Considering
as it is.
absolutely zero residents in the next 2 years are going to look at this.
Yeah, I would just, I just let it lie as is, you guys. All right, so anything about the big,
Why do it?
anything about the big picture about what this is about?
Else was fine, but I just, that was
Okay,
what I didn't like.
noted. Thank you, Catherine. You guys have any questions about, about the overall? I'm anxious to see once we have Lance Thies take a look at it too. He's going to be our new planning, or buildings and community planning person. I think that will be helpful too. I'd like to get feedback, and then we can always, I think the real thing we'll want to make sure that we focus on is number one, and Darren just alluded to it a second ago, is that no resident's ever going to look at it. I want to make sure that that doesn't happen to us too, right? It's like, how do you keep these things in front of us so that they don't just fade away? And I think that will be something that we should strategize a little bit about how to bring it back up as most important for us, so that we could stick to, the vision of it.
And there definitely was some interpretations, right? I mean, and I want to thank, all the departments. I want to especially thank Amanda. She's really taken this project kind of under her wing and took a lot of, not only the layout, but also a lot of the content with us too.
Great job.
And so when you see it at the end, some of these goals, we're listening to you, we're listening to other people, and we're trying to say, how do we make that into an action that we can do something and implement something, so.
So thank you for your hard work, Amanda, and we'll keep, how to make sure it stays in front of us will be important.
So we won't bring this back till the following meeting, so we have December 4th, we'll skip that, we'll have it on the agenda. We can do an action item on 12/18, if we don't hear anything from anybody. Anybody can email me anything else they want. I did connect with Catherine about the ward question earlier, so.
And you just asked to bring it here.
Okay, my friends. Next thing, what do we got? Abatement of JUCO, FN1.
Yes, thank you. Each year, we come in front of council for the approval of the two property tax abatements we have. The first one is for Julco, and the other one's for Magenta. So these were approved a few years ago. This will be the third abatement for Magenta and the second abatement for Julco. And you can see attached to the information is what they received as abatements last year. The county does the calculations for those abatements and make sure that what we have in the agreements are legitimized here. So what we're looking for is the approval for the council to continue with these abatements. It is a requirement here for us to do annually.
Any thoughts, concerns?
Will expire in 5th year, or when do it?
Right, each of them were for 5 years.
Okay. All right, so, yeah, right, it was part of the agreement, so. So I guess is it okay with the consent then on that? Okay, very good.
Thank you.
And then Magenta?
That was both of them.
Oh, so both, okay, sorry, I thought we were doing one at a time. All right, so both of them will be on consent, very good. All right, the easement agreement with Chevron.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. Item 8T1 has to do with the amendment of the easement agreement with Chevron. Back in 2017, in a cooperative agreement between the parties, the city and Chevron, there was, along with the amendment to the annexation agreement, also an exchange of properties, a property swap. So in that end, the city ended up getting some parcel in which Chevron had some trailers located in those parcels. So this is a survey that kind of shows the location of the property. And the easement agreement that was entered into back in December 2017 allowed Chevron to continue to have trailers and some fencing to protect its property. And the primary use of that trailer that's located there is to market Chevron's property to potential developers. So they need to keep that there still, and when they approached city administration earlier this year to extend the easement agreement to continue that use, at the same time, the city found out that the chamber also wanted to move Old Canal Days festivals to that area. So that kind of left the parties in a quandary. So in order to kind of make everything work, the proposed amendment to the easement agreement would be to allow the city to use that occupied area, that north area, for the Old Canal Days Festival. So it's only in June. All the other times of the month, Chevron would be allowed to continue to use that area. Also, the easement roadway. I think it works out best. We want to make sure that the Chevron is able to sell their property or redevelop their property, but at the same time, it would allow the city during the month of June, during Old Canal Days, to utilize that area. So the proposed amendment would do that. It specifically states that a week before Old Canal Days, the city will be able to access the area, allow the vendors to set up, and then 2 days after the Canal Days, then they would have to remove 2 business days. We would have to remove everything. The easement agreement will be extended to December 19, 2024. At any time between now and then, Chevron will be able to terminate if they end up, leaving the area or selling the area. They can terminate with the 30-day notice to the city. They would, of course, obviously have to, put the area back in a condition that's acceptable to the city. And the city, after 3 years, will be able to also terminate the agreement upon a 180-day notice, so a 6-month notice period. And that's because, if we gave them a notice in the middle of the winter, they would have to wait until the ground dethaws so they could remove some of the fencing that protects it. So, and also during the Canal Days, the city would have to ensure that the area, the protected area in which Chevron still has its equipment and other vehicles there, we have to make sure that nobody from the public goes in that area, and that's the agreement that the city has reached. So that would be the proposed amendment to that easement agreement. If there are any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them.
Thoughts, concerns?
I don't have any questions about this, but did I just hear that we're gonna go ahead and move Canal Days down to a grassy area? And all we need is a 2 or 3 hour rain, and we have a mud pit.
Sure, I can actually address that a little bit. 'Cause I know that we've all been talking about that with the chamber and Brent. I think you're absolutely right. One of the things that they're looking at doing to help mitigate that is we can actually take the grindings that are basically free and spread those around a little bit here.
No, we can't do that.
And
We
what
act-
is it?
Well, we have a business owner that has requested, they're being required to go ahead and asphalt their parking lot. They have laid down grindings. They've been told that doesn't meet our city code, which means these grindings we put down there on this property will not meet our city code. We can't make exceptions for. I don't know who came up with this idea to put down this in a potential mud pit, but it needs to be rescinded next month and go back to where it's always been. I mean, it's ridiculous. We were gonna go ahead and.
Aaron, why don't you do this? Why don't you
Well,
come out to
it's- well,
why don't you come
because I
out to
just
one of
heard
their
it the first time.
why don't you come out to one of their meetings then and have the conversation?
The item on the agenda doesn't really have anything necessarily to
Exactly.
do with Old Canal Days, right?
Right.
So I
But
think
but
you're
Old
okay with
Canal
that
Days
piece of
was brought
business.
up.
Yes.
Agreed, but I'm just saying.
We can't put it down there.
Well, then let's do two things. One, we want to move forward with this agreement with Chevron so they keep their trailer there. Then after we decide what to do with it for committee of the whole, we can have a conversation at new business about Old Canal Days. So is everyone okay with having this agreement be extended for Chevron? We good with a consent on that? Okay, so we'll put that on consent. All right, so that wraps up our regular business. So for new business. Darren, if you feel strongly about it, my suggestion would be come to the next Old
Well,
Canal Days meeting.
I have consciously avoided having anything to do with Canal Days, the organization of Canal Days over the last 6 years, okay? But to go ahead and say, this is a great idea, we're gonna go ahead and put Canal Days down on an area that holds water, okay? We had rain last year.
Yeah, I think that, I hear what you're talking about like, people with their parking lots. The difference is, it's not meant to be a parking lot. Those businesses, those are parking lots for here until that's part of what their whole business is. That's the parking lot. This isn't a permanent parking lot.
This isn't about the grindings, it's about moving this down to a mud pit.
Well, and that's the way, I believe, talking to our engineers, that they could solve that problem. They felt comfortable about it, so my engineers are comfortable with it. I feel
I'll ask the
comfortable.
engineer, will this grinding meet our city code for a parking lot?
No, it won't meet our code for a city parking lot, but it's not meant to be a parking lot. It's just meant to be able to put where the carnival goes, it's meant where the craft show goes, it's meant for the whole festival. It's not just about a parking
All right,
lot.
well, I've said my piece, and so let's pray for no rain next year and the following years.
Or we can continue to move forward and try to mitigate it with some of the ideas that the engineering department had put forward, at least to me. Certainly we could share that with the council as well. You want to just kind of share your thoughts on it, Brent?
As everybody's discussed tonight, yes, rain down there during the current condition, it would be challenging. It's on top of topsoil, black dirt with grass. It may provide some issues. So what we've talked about is we would strip the topsoil. There is a couple inches of topsoil down there with grass on it. We would strip that topsoil, and we would bring in either a combination of grindings if we have adequate number of grindings, or structural fill, structural clay, and we would compact that, and we would put grindings on top of the clay. That would essentially, if anybody has been down there recently, there is a large area of CA6 stone down there that Chevron has already placed in the area. They've compacted. This would essentially just broaden that area. So right now, Chevron has stone. We would extend that stone to the south by way of grindings, essentially the same material, grindings or CA6. We would have it surveyed ahead of time, and we're working with an engineer right now to potentially have that cost taken care of through a through working with them and donating to our city. And once we are done with the grindings, this would be exactly the way that it is today. It is a drainage sheet flow that goes from north to south and from west to east. I'm sorry, from east to west. And there is a creek that runs adjacent to Fracaro Park, and the water would go exactly where it is today. So it is something that I'm very familiar with as far as dirt work and grading wise. Definitely some work to be done. However, to do this right, this is what I've proposed in order to make sure that we have a sufficient surface to have a carnival, to have parking, to have people walking down there, and even in a rain event, this would be able to be done.
And y'all are okay with that? Everybody else is okay with putting it down in the lowest area of the city where there's gonna be standing water if we have rain? That's okay.
I kind of like the idea, Darren. I'm sorry. Other than the location, if that's your biggest thing, but if this will work, I mean, it might actually make downtown a more appealing place for a lot of people. It won't be just a parking lot everywhere where all the cars are taking up and the carnival's in the middle. Because if the carnival's down there, then you can still use the parking lots that we normally take up for just the carnival. It might actually be a good thing in the end if we can figure out that it will work. If it will work, it might be better.
Good,
And
right,
and you know
maybe.
what? And here's the thing, Darren. And this is what I said to the committee when we talked about it. I said, if it doesn't work, yeah, move it back next year. It's really, it's not like Armageddon happens.
Pilot program here.
Right.
We're not gonna
So-
construct a parking lot, so.
Right, it's just an area so that the carnival rides can sit on something, that they don't sink into the ground and these kind of things. You know, the other aspect too, and when you guys
All
get
I
that,
see is disaster.
it may be, Darren. It may
Maybe,
turn
so
out
why
to be
do
that
we-
way.
Why do we keep it on solid ground?
I think,
Where we have stormwater drainage?
well, like you said, you haven't been involved in Old Canal Days in years.
But I have
That's
been
fair
involved
enough.
with Old Canal Days since about 1972.
Right, and it was trying to overcome a lot of negative things that happened, you know, probably back in the years before you stopped being involved. But a lot of things that the committee has been doing to try to improve it have been implemented over the last years, but some of the struggles still come with trying to get a better carnival, which everybody wants, but it's very difficult to cram it into that parking lot and have it go down 10th Street and then go into the Norton parking lot. It's always a battle with the residents who live in those parking lots. It can never get bigger than what it is, and everybody wants to see a larger carnival. There's just a lot of reasons why they felt like it would be nice to have it all consolidated down at the Heritage Village, completely straddling the canal, which is what the namesake of the festival is. And so it seemed like a good idea to try. If it doesn't work out, you can say, I told you so, and we'll go back to the other place. It's just trying it. It's a 50-year-old festival almost. To try something a little different, I don't really see.
And
Okay.
so the crafters and stuff would be down there too? Is that the
Yep,
intent?
they'll be able to make it. I will have,
That's kind of nice.
I can have the chambers send out the
Kinda nice
kind
if
of
it
a,
was another 200 feet up above the river. It'd be perfect if it was 200 feet above the river. But at the level of the river.
So
my
the
God.
other choice then is Delwood Park, Darren.
and that defeats the purpose of Old Canal Days, because it has nothing to do with the canal.
You know, it's amazing how people who never grew up here have all these great ideas about changing something that's worked well for 50 years. Let's change it, just to change
You know,
it.
Darren, it's changed many times over 50 years. The carnival used to be down
Never
underneath
put
the
it down
bridge.
in a floodplain.
The carnival used to be down underneath the bridge, which is exactly the same level as this parking lot. And so, if you're gonna sit there and chastise people for never living here and working on a committee to help make it better, when you yourself have told me you haven't been on the committee or tried, I don't see that really, that's a valid argument.
Okay,
Get involved.
I am involved.
Yeah, as an armchair quarterback right now, go to the committee and be involved in it.
All right, I told you so. What's today? November 18th, 2019? Okay.
Try it one time.
Just,
All right.
it's the trial basis.
All right, looking for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Catherine, seconded by Joanne, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. Where we'll do the tug of war over the mud pit.
There you go.
What's that?
Would allow additional automobile dealership at that development. So based upon that feedback, the attached draft does specifically limit the new automobile used dealership to lots 14A and 6. That's a lot that will be what the FCA has proposed to operate the Chrysler Dodge Jeep dealership, and there will be no additional automobile use dealership allowed. So if there was such a use that came by, before the city council by a developer, then the annexation agreement would have to be amended. But primarily, as discussed at the last meeting, the amendment also eliminates the tire, battery, lube, express uses in the development area. It also eliminates the gas station use except for ancillary uses. So if it happens to be like a, let's say, like a Walmart, if wanted to have an automobile dealership, or not automobile dealership, but gas station, that would be allowed as an ancillary use. So the annexation agreement is required by the, any amendment to the annexation agreement is required to have a publication of a notice. The notice was published in the Joliet Herald as required, at least 15 days prior to this hearing, and we believe that all the statutory requirements of the amendment to the annexation agreement has been met, and if there's any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them.
All right, Meg, anything? I think it's what we discussed last time, so. Okay, anyone in the audience want to talk? Public hearing? Okay. So there being no one else who wants to be heard on this, then could I get a motion to close the public hearing?
Second?
Joanne and Catherine. All in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, so now I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve the resolution number 19133, approving the First Amendment to the Lockport Square Annexation Agreement.
Second.
All right, Renee and JR, I think we need a roll call on this one, Sonny?
Yes, and Mayor, you do get to vote on this.
Okay.
So, Saban. Yes. Bergbauer.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Lopes.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes?
Peretta.
Yes.
And Mayor.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, moving along to CA1. What do you got, Ben?
Yes, this is the kind of the final housekeeping of the Heritage and Architecture Commission, CA1. We had this on the prior Committee of the Whole, and we had to make a name change. Scott Likens is stepping down, and Dave Oxley is going to step up as the appointment from Planning and Zoning to the H&A. We also tried to rotate and change the terms so that they're staggered more often. And we also added a local attorney, Bill Drew, who is going to serve at the at-large vacancy position, and that name was added. It was not on the last time, and so we're asking for approval of Resolution 19132 to make these changes.
All right, looking for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Seconded by Catherine. Can we just do a voice all in favor of this?
Yes, Catherine.
All in favor? Or any discussion first?
Hold
I'm
on a
sorry.
second. I was kind of, motion was made by Alderwoman Peretta and second by,
No, I made the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Seconded by,
I'm sorry.
It's not an easy job, Sonny,
Okay,
that
sorry.
Kathy has.
I was on a different,
She's doing
Okay.
2 jobs.
I know
so
she.
yes. So, Saban. Yes. Bergbauer. Yes. Galogly.
yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Lopes.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes?
Peretta.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, and we'll have, we actually have another one we're going to do in the next meeting for the National Board of Code of Appeals. It's not a commission that gets formed very often, but it's brought to my attention that those names need to be updated as well. We'll have that for you in the future.
All right, PZ1.
Yes. So, Mayor, members of the City Council, I will address this item, PZ1, which is the final plat of subdivision for Lockport Square. When this was presented to the City Council at the Committee of the Whole meeting back on back in November, earlier November, the plat, there was some corrections that needed to be on the plat that kind of changed the actual total footage of the area to be subdivided and also some of the sizes. So what is before you and what has been presented to you are watermarked, I believe, Resolution 19-126 that was actually printed out, has the correction with the size of the lot. Nothing substantively changed, but because the sizes kind of changed the resolution number, That's why we are presenting it as an action item. The plat has also been revised, and that has been printed out before you. So if there are any questions, I would be more than happy to answer them.
All right, so looking for a motion to approve number 19126.
So moved.
Okay, get Mark and Christina. Any questions? Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Saban. Yes. Bergbauer. Yes. Galogly.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Lobes.
Yes.
Barteson.
Yes?
And Poretta.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, Public Works. You're up there, Brent.
All right, thank you. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. Very briefly, I would just like to make an announcement for tomorrow night. We do have another open house meeting for our 2nd to 5th Street project. This is for our water main, roadway reconstruction, storm sewer project from, like I said, 2nd Street to 5th Street, and it is from State on the west side over to Madison on the east side. The location is 17112 Prime Boulevard. That is our Public Works facility. We had our 15th to 18th Street project meeting last night from 6 to 7:30 as well, and that went very well. We had just over 20 people show up to that one, so.
It's actually great. Usually you get like nobody.
Yeah.
It's good. I'm
yeah,
very glad.
So,
He's right. I mean, everybody who talked, they were pretty happy to have it explained, so I would agree that was nice.
so, yes, and thank you for that. Alderwoman Bergbauer, Alderwoman Poretta, and Alderman Deskin were all in attendance as well, so it was very nice. I
Can we have
appreciate
snacks?
appreciate you guys. I will have the snacks there tomorrow night. If that gets more people out, we will definitely do that. But I do appreciate everybody showing up, and I think it went well. Tomorrow night we'll have our second one for next year's projects. Also, very quickly, LEAF program, we are continuing. We are doing our absolute best. I want to thank everybody for their patience. We are out. We have 2 crews out daily. We are working them late. We are working them on the weekends. We are doing everything we possibly can. We'll continue to do so until weather restricts us or until we have every leaf picked up. So just those 2 quick notes. PW-1 this evening. This is, as council recalls, from our Committee of the Whole meeting on the 6th of November, Division Street Treatment Plant Expansion and Conveyance System. This is for the engineering portion. As we discussed last time, this will be for the headworks at our treatment plant. So this, if you think about our overall $25 million project for our treatment plant expansion, this is the phase number 1 of several phases. The cost is, as we discussed last time, in the $3 to $5 million range. I know that's a large range, but until we do this, we won't have exact numbers. This will help to offset some of the issues that we have with pumping during heavy rainfall events. In conjunction, we have PW-2 that we're going to, I'm sorry, not PW-2 yet. The second portion of PW-1, which is our conveyance system engineering. Again, they go hand in hand. We also were able to put a lot of information out with the help of Lisa to discuss our financing options, to discuss our schedule. So I think we've been able to provide a lot of information that was requested by council last time, or at our Committee of the Whole meeting. This evening, again, we would look for concurrence to move forward on both items. This is our engineering. This will get us to construction. We have the construction dollars in the budget for next year, and we are excited to get going and hopefully provide some much-needed relief to the city. I know this has been an ongoing project and process for a number of years, and I think we're finally looking to address some of the real issues here.
Did everybody get the email that Lisa sent out? It was very well done, and hopefully everybody got to take a look at that. So,
That was it was really well explained. Thank you.
so
All right,
Brent
so let me do a motion here. Looking for a motion to approve Resolution 19129.
and 130.
And one,
Oh, and 130,
That
thank
is
you.
correct.
I'll make that motion.
All right, JR,
Second.
seconded by Mark. Okay, any thoughts beyond that? All right, very good. Looking forward to it. Looking for a roll call then.
Saban. Yes. Bergbauer.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Lobes.
Yes.
Barteson.
Yes.
And Poretta.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Second item this evening is PW-2. This is the New Avenue and State Street roundabout. This would be our pre-phase one engineering. Again, as discussed last committee of the whole meeting, this will get us to a point where we have some costs. We have some ideas on how much property, if any, that we are going to need to look to acquire. This is where we decide, are we going to be able to shift it a little bit south, a little bit west into property that the city already owns. Again, if council recalls the photo last time, it was, thank you very much, Amanda, it was just a, a sketch. This is a sketch. This is a planning document. So again, what this will do is help to pinpoint our location. Ideally, I think this will probably shift a little bit south and west. This evening, we're looking for council's consideration for the resolution number 19-128, task order for V3 to do, again, pre-phase one engineering. This will help to set us up with some costs, also for potential phase one and for potential future funding mechanisms that will help with our trucks and help to alleviate some of the issues that continue to happen if everybody has driven downstate and 9th this week. They've seen some additional impacts that our great trucks have been able to do for us. I've got plenty of photos if anybody wants to see them. The amount is $46,500, and looking for council concurrence this evening.
All right, looking for a motion for 19-128.
Second.
Okay, seconded by JR. Any discussion?
Just real quickly, Lisa, we have money, is this more like a 80-20 project again, and we would have money for it? I mean, I know that intersection's dangerous. I just want to make sure we would have the funding then, like, we can go through with this. That's all I want to know. I mean, I'm not disagreeing, it's a good project. It's a state road, yeah, so we'll be able, it'll probably be, what, a 80-20?
It would be 80-20, it could be 2 or 3 million, so you're talking $600,000. Our portion.
That's not bad.
Could be 3 years from now in the next
Correct.
letting.
This is definitely not a next year project.
Like-
Definitely not a next
Oh,
year
okay.
project. no.
Okay, that's good then. I mean, because it is a concerning
It
intersection.
would definitely be something that if it proves out, we would have to do further studies, another phase, and then you would approve that, and then we would still come back for concurrence to go out for the grant before we commit, because IDOT would want us to commit to the 20% when we apply. So future council will have that final say, and whether we have the money available at that time, that would be easier for.
Okay.
Well, I'll ask my question then now. If it comes back that it's in a project that, one, we don't have the land, or one, it's just way too expensive to make, do we have to do a separate study then to actually want to put a light there, or is that not even an option?
That would be a separate study, would be my guess, with a different firm and/or purpose. It's a good question, though. I mean, if I would say if it did fail, that's a good idea.
We can enlarge this study. A lot of the same baseline information. This is going to be traffic studies. This is going to be peak hour movements. This is going to get us our truck counts. This is going to get us all the baseline information for what we would need for a signal. So I don't want to say that this is, that we certainly will not have the signal answer after this. However, we'll be 75% of the way there. So if council were to want that, I mean, we can easily add that into our.
We could amend it
Or
to not
contract.
exceed an additional 20,000 if you
Correct.
want, and then give you an update later as to what it was. I mean, now that you mention it, it might be money well spent.
What do you guys want to do? Is that something you want to, we can just vote on this now, and then if you guys want to come back to us with a price tag
Amended,
on what it would
correct,
be,
and
we can amend it?
Yes.
We can consider it at the next meeting, I suppose.
Yeah, another 2 weeks, probably not a big deal.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, if there's nothing
you,
else,
Mayor.
then
Thank you,
roll
Council.
call, please.
Yes. Saban. Bergbauer. Galogly.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Lobes.
Yes.
Bartison.
Yes.
And Poretta.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right. Just one new thing. I know it's not till December 10th, but just put it on your calendar if you want. I know that the folks from the Tangled Roots and their restaurant, which will be called Lac Mule, they want to do a groundbreaking ceremony on December 10th at 1 p.m. So if you guys are in town and you can make it, I think it'll be fun. So yes, Mark can't be there. We'll got to get cardboard cutouts of everybody. Bring you for the picture. So, that's right, is the design teacher,
Well,
so.
speaking of that, I'm seeing rumors on Facebook, Mod and Chipotle, I'm hearing Chipotle maybe on the 27th, is that correct? What Mod was yesterday?
It's open, yeah.
Yeah,
Chipotle,
Chipotle, I
is it-
think in the next.
Chipotle is on the 27th. Chipotle will have their hard opening on the 27th. You will see action in there on Monday and Tuesday of that week. Those will be the soft opening, but the hard opening, they are targeting, and I have no reason to think that they will not be open the day before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And Mod did open, yes, they opened on
Tuesday.
Tuesday, thank you.
All right. Anything else? Any open floor comments? I have a visitor. Anybody? We all good? Okay. All right, then looking for a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Oh, Renee and JR, all in favor?
Aye.